So, Inoje, let me come to you now and talk about Oando. Now, Oando has always been an advocate for deepening local value creation, right? You guys have done a lot of work across the energy landscape. You've been quite active in upstream developments. You've been active in investing in indigenous capacity building. Now, my question is, can you share with us how Oando has actually advanced more integrated and future-focused energy strategies and solutions? And this is thinking through upstream optimization, thinking about gas monetization, and of course thinking about that strategic investments that you are making in clean energy. If you can speak to that a bit.
Thank you very much. And I wanted to also thank the new NOG. Thank you, GC. We're looking forward to next year. We always said that we needed to calculate our strides, but I think everyone else was focused on the talk shop, but I'm glad that shift has happened. When it comes to energy security, I wanted to make one fundamental point. There's a lot to be said for mindset when it comes to energy security. You have to feel deserving of security for you to invest in creating security. The West knew about this when they built all the energy infrastructures in Africa earlier on, 20, 40, 50, 60 years from now. All that energy pointed out in export to their own countries, to fuel their development, to fuel their people's betterment. A modern day example is the Emirates, Dubai. They understand what it means to value their people. And that concept has to hold true for all of us to be on the same journey, that we truly believe that in Africa, a child is more deserving of what he gets today, which is certainly not equal to what a child in the global north gets. We are lucky if 6 out of every 10 children today get a light bulb to study. But if you go anywhere in Germany, the UK, France, everyone there has 3 TVs, 5 video games, etc., etc. So I think it's a value conversation. And with that, Oando has built its entire business on that sort of thinking. Very quickly, in the upstream sector, we stand today as probably still the only indigenous company that has acquired 2 IOCs in the last 10 years. If you have ambition, I think that stands for ambition. It tells you the size of our dream, the size of our possibilities, and the way we see the world. It's not been easy navigating all the challenges in bringing those assets to bear, shadowing the operator, making sure that they're forthright in what they do, now sitting in that operating seat and managing the issues from security. I must say thank you to the NNPC. It is a breath of fresh air. Today I work with people. Funny enough, he always gives me an example to use. Sorry, I have to, my big brother, Intia, I have to come to you again. Last week I was on a call, and I gave the example where he called me, said, Alex, gas production is down. What can I do to help? That's not a message you get from NNPC. Today I was walking out. He stopped me and said, look, we're having some issues with X, Y, and Z. These are my views. What do you think? By Friday, we've agreed we're going to have a solution. There was no meeting. There was no conference room. There was no PowerPoint. We just solved the problem there. So a lot of what you see today is only possible with a mindset shift, right? And it starts with the people. If I have time, I'll come back to that later. Gas monetization, as you know, we inherited as part of the acquisition of Okpai, which is a black start generator for the grid. Effectively, when the grid goes down, it's one of the power stations that starts up the grid. We have Okpai 1 and 2, which puts about 1 gig on the grid. And for us, servicing 15% of the Nigerian population with power is at the core of our being. We don't only do that here, we did that in Lagos, where we took the Water Corporation and Alausa off the main power, and we had their dedicated power supplies, bringing now the cost of utilization, but also creating availability that was in excess of 90%. The clean energy ambition is really what excites me. I know Minister has talked about laudable dreams of clean energy. We should focus on oil and gas, and we truly believe that is where we must focus. But the worst thing is to focus on oil and gas and not tool yourself up for the clean energy future that will come, even if it's an energy basket, where you end up becoming a consumer, like we are with everything today in the world, technology-wise, where you become a consumer instead of a producer of it. So it's key for us to invest in oil and gas, continue to harness gas as a fuel to stay. It is not a transition fuel. It is going to be here till God knows when, right? And then ensure that we build the capacity, the knowledge, the operating frameworks to deliver bankable, clean energy projects, because that's all that's useful to Africa. If it's not bankable, we're not interested. And those projects are what we want to bring to the fore, and some of those partnerships you already know with Lagos State government on municipal transport, and some of the stuff we're doing with wind and the solar manufacturing that we're embarking on. Thank you very much.
In your experience, or from your perspective, what kinds of investment models have you seen have proven most efficient in attracting this capital that we're talking about? So I'm going to take it from NOG to Tony, and then Wale, you can close with your comments, right? Thank you.
Thank you for that. I think when you look at the oil and gas space, we've spoken a lot about the things that are an imperative foundation. A predictable environment, which the regulators and all of us are responsible for. Some element of security. The worst thing is to create something you can't sell because you would have invested without any return. So when you look at this sector, a lot of the investors understand the risk on the revenue line, meaning oil prices will go up and they will come down, full stop, right? And they're happy with that risk. The other uncertainties is really where the rubber meets the road. And for us, I would say we've been able to, over the last 5 years, get serious about challenging those uncertainties. Security being the main one. If I fast forward to today, I still think there are issues around policies around deep water investment that can be improved. I genuinely believe we should take a microscope to the most profitable region to invest in oil and gas and take our fiscals there. Because we have a short window to really get all of these molecules out of the ground. So that, for me, will be the approach to take. Now, how do you do that in practice? There's certainly policy work that we have to do, but as operators, we also have to show and demonstrate outcomes. So we have borrowed money to acquire the assets that we have. We need to show that we can pay that back, i.e. provide confidence in the industry and amongst the bankers and the investment population. Renaissance have to do the same. This one that all of them are wearing this ashwebi, I don't know. I don't know the cost of this. But, we do have to figure out a way of signaling that we understand not only what we're doing, but we can generate the returns that are deserving of the industry. And last and final point, so I can allow the others go, is on the clean energy side, we do need to harness the financing options available for clean energy. Let's be clear. The West will not give you money for clean energy projects that do not benefit them. I used to be the CEO of Clean Energy Oando. The new CEO is sitting there, and we have been around the world to raise money for the clean energy. If the energy is not going back to them, you don't get the check. Thank you.
Much.